As of today, the 14th of March 2025, throughout Mexico, regularization only applies to those who have been in Mexico illegally prior to January 1st, 2023, and who have not left Mexico since. There you have it. Hey family, welcome back. It's Shanique from FroFamilyTravels with another video. And this is a big one, guys, especially for those of you that were originally thinking of coming to Mexico under the RNE regularization program. That program has had a major update. Now, you could say that this is just hearsay because there is nothing official that has come from the Mexican government. There's nothing on their website that we know of so far. But when we think of the type of program that this is, it's highly unlikely that you are going to find anything official on the government website. However, I have been on the Facebook page of one of the top facilitators in Mexico. I've been following her page for years, and she literally just released this yesterday. So I'm actually going to go to her page and show it to you so you can see for yourself. Now, a little bit of a background on the regularization program. This was brought in under COVID for people who initially got stuck in Mexico, and it was a way to allow them to stay legally in Mexico because they had no way of getting home. So originally it was for people who had been in Mexico prior to a certain date. It was like 2021, 2020, and you had to overstay your visa, and it gave you the rights to temporary residency in Mexico. And it varied from state to state. Some places said you had to have been to Mexico once before 2020, 2021, and some states said you had to have visited Mexico at least twice prior to 2020, 2021. And it changed over the years, but there was always the warning that it could be removed at any time. You were always told not to wait because we never know how long it was going to last. At the end of each year, it was always like, we don't know if this is going to still be available the following year. And each year it was still there, and the dates changed. And most recently, we were of the understanding that as long as you had visited between 2015 and 2023, and you had had at least one visit to Mexico within those dates, and as long as you stayed past your 180 days FMM, then you could be immediately eligible for temporary residency without having to prove any kind of income at all. That was what we had previously known. But this current update, as of yesterday, and it has gone into effect today, states this. I am actually on Sonia's Facebook page, and I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to come back up to that in a moment. But here, if we look here, we can see regularization. As of tomorrow, throughout Mexico, regularization will only apply to those who have been in Mexico illegally prior to January 1st, 2023, and who have not left Mexico since. As of today, the 14th of March 2025, throughout Mexico, regularization only applies to those who have been in Mexico illegally prior to January 1st, 2023, and who have not left Mexico since. There you have it. And like I said, Sonia is a top facilitator. She has dealt with thousands of clients who have wanted to secure their Mexican residency. So if she posts it, I believe it, and it's true. Like I said, it's highly unlikely you're going to get anything official from the government because we're talking about people who have illegal status. So it's not really something that they're publicizing. I don't think the government have actually ever put anything official on their website about the RNE program. It's just been kind of quite covert, and just if you know the right people, then you've known about it. our Mexican lawyer who we used to get our residency did a webinar for us about it, and she supported a lot of people through this process. So it was a really great program while it lasted, and I guess it's a shame that it's come to an end, but nobody should be surprised by this. There have been several warnings that it could end at any time, and I think a lot of people just took that for granted and hoped that it would last for as long as they needed it to. I know personally people who were hoping to do it in the next couple months, who were hoping to use spring break to secure their residency. I've heard about people, under Sonia's post, there were people talking about the fact that they had planned, they booked flights and they were going to come next week in order to do this. It's not going to happen. It is effective immediately. It doesn't matter if you have an appointment for next week. Not going to happen. I didn't actually think they were allowing appointments for a lot of people that wanted to qualify under RNE, but I guess it depends on the state that you were going to do this with. As we know in Mexico, each state, things can be completely different. But that's it. And you know what? One of the reasons I'm really not surprised when you look at everything that's been going on in the US and the way that President Trump has been acting the fool and just pissing everybody off. This is no surprise. And the president of Mexico, she actually said that, you know, eye for an eye. And this is one way that she's doing that. This is going to affect thousands of people who are here in Mexico now and are currently illegal, and they were hoping that, you know, they would just wait till they had the money or till they could get to INM, or they could get to or they could secure an appointment. We're hoping that they were going to secure their Mexican residency this way. It's no longer going to be possible. So what this means is you are going to have to go the traditional route for residency. If we go on to, Sonia actually literally just posted this 1 hour ago. So she's letting you know these are the exact ways to currently secure residency in Mexico. So in order to secure a temporary resident, you can do so at a consulate. You have to be in your home country in order to start this process, and you need to prove a monthly income of $4,185 US, 5,975 Canadian every single month for 6 months through your bank statement, or investments of $69,750, or home ownership in Mexico worth 11 million pesos. And then it's got details on sponsoring a spouse. So it says if only one spouse meets the financial threshold, then one option you can use is sponsorship through a consulate, and there are details about there. So one spouse qualifies as a resident with proving additional income or investments sponsoring the spouse. Typically the additional amount is 25% of financial requirements for an individual. Another option is when one married spouse qualifies and the other does not. The non-qualifying spouse enters as a tourist, and then the qualifying spouse completes residency in Mexico and then sponsors the other. The sponsored spouse would then not need to prove financials as well. And if you have a child, it's the same as sponsoring a spouse. An adult child can sponsor parents as well. It's similar. You don't have to go the consulate that way. So like if my mum wanted to get Mexican residency, I could sponsor her and she could get her residency through me, and she wouldn't have to prove any income with that. And then there's also the option where you can have a child in Mexico and secure your residency through that. That's the route that we took. I had my son in 2022, and that's how we got our permanent residency here. Or you could marry a Mexican citizen. So I guess you still have those alternative options. But let's go over it again. But you need, in order to qualify for the RNE regularization program from this point onwards, you need to have been in Mexico prior to 2023. So that is not including 2023. It says prior to January 1st, 2023, and you need to have not left. So you can't have jumped on a plane and gone and come back. No, you need to have been stuck, which is initially what it was for. So they've just kind of gone back for the way that it was. You know, I think a lot of people were fully taking advantage of this and just bypassing the regular routes to residency, and it was getting a little bit out of hand, and they've decided to clamp down and say, no, this is it, this is the end. So I'm very sorry for those of you that were hoping to use the RNE regularization program. I know this is going to impact on most people that were hoping to go through the regularization program. Well, now you have these other routes that you need to think about. But as far as the RNE program, as we know it, and as we omit, and as many people have enjoyed it, that door is officially closed. You definitely had to take advantage of it while it was up and running. It came to an end, and no one could have predicted it. It really just is sending shockwaves in the groups that I'm in. People are like shook, and in the groups that I'm in, people are really disappointed and upset, and you know, I can understand that, but we always knew that this day was going to come. No one just knew when, but here it is. I don't even lie, Mexico are standing on business. You need to earn over that amount, and it is only going to increase year on year. It does. It goes up alongside the Mexican minimum wage. So every year it increases because minimum wage increases continuously. So if you're eligible for residency now, you may want to start that process right now because it will likely increase. Government fees go up as well year on year. So it is best to apply now. Do not wait. As we can see, these things are changing all the time. But I hope that was helpful, and if you have any questions about the program, I am not an expert. I recommend following Sonia, but if you do have any questions, drop them in the comments. I've lived in Mexico for a while. I'm in a lot of the residency groups. I like to stay up to date so I can share the most relevant information for you. If you do have any questions, drop them below and I'll do my best to answer them. But it's always best to consult a professional to make sure you get the most accurate information. All right, family, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.